Welcome back, everyone, to the FNCS. In case you missed it, game number 3 went the way I wrote it. Let's take a look back at this moment. I wanted to see it from Sphinx's perspective, okay? Because we didn't get to see that. I wanted to relive this moment because, man, oh man, Sphinx pulled out an incredible solo clutch to make sure they are making it straight through to finals. You know, we've seen Muzz take it to LCQ in the past, and he's made it through. And this is why I wasn't worried. I was like, dude, you know what? He got Sphinx with him, all good. And here we are, Kelly. Here we are, Muzz and Sphinx in a finals lobby, Kelly. Here we are.
I just watched Reed and Cooper go down. I had to relive that moment. This is really the play that impressed me for Sphinx. Staying in the backside, when you're a solo player, you really can't stay in the front side of zone, which is where our duos like to play. So to kind of play this back edge and then to do that slide play that you brought up, Zeke, and to get the elimination, I mean, that right there is kind of just like what spelled it for me. At that moment, I knew that he was going to get the elimination onto Jig as well, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was going to go ahead and win that 1v1 when I took a look at his mat count. I mean, having 26 available builds when the end game is kind of happening right there in a 1v1 situation. You gotta assume the other player has 0 materials because they were trying to maintain the high ground throughout. Yeah, I mean, you give 26 builds to Sphinx in a 1v1 like that against somebody who has none. It's going to win it every single time. But yeah, well-deserved win there for Sphinx and Mars.
Let's go. That's what I love to see. Let's take a look at our leaderboard here. We only have 2 games left to go. So remember, we want to get a victory royale that auto qualifies us through, or we need to end the day in the top 10. As we start to look at this leaderboard kind of start to play itself out, we had a really big game out of Curve and Venno. But first, I want to start with Cooper and Reet as well. I mean, there's just, you know, it's crazy. I feel like anytime we tune into like a different place, Kelly, I mean, it's just so much star power in this lobby.
There really is some big names here, and to consider the names that we actually haven't even seen today or yesterday that are still out of the lobby, I do love to just see how much more competitive North American Central is getting. But being Curve and Venno there, man, there was definitely a moment where I thought this was going to be their game. And there was around zone 10, I saw Curve and Venno peeking, you know, they were like paying attention to height, and I was like, this is it.
I mean, yeah, the thing is, really, you know, you're talking about the front low position there for Curve and Venno, and they were actually in a really good spot. There was this little moment, though, where Venno gets put into a 1v2 situation. He actually finds one of the knocks, and that's going to be on your screen right now as he takes out CDZ right there. And you can kind of see when he does get knocked, he kind of looks around while he's on the ground. He's like, what the heck? Where is my teammate at, right? If Curve was there with him, they probably would have won that 2v2 straight up clean, and Venno kind of knew that, but a little bit of a disconnect right there towards the end. Curve still able to pick up that elimination towards the end of that. And I mean, yeah, the name of the game there for Venno and Curve was obviously the eliminations, and kind of checking out like what we've been seeing on NA specifically so far throughout the games we saw, including the ones from Heat 1. That 14 eliminations for Venno and Curve was the most we have seen so far, and actually on the broadcast in general, that is second to only Teeny and Shark, who had 15.
Whoa.
So yeah, big game there for the duo.
Oh my gosh. And it's crazy too to think that like game 1, 11th place, 4 elims, game 2, 20th with 6 elims, right? And you kind of think like, man, that doesn't sound like crazy. Game 4, or game 3 rather, 4th place, 14 elims, and now they are in first place. Like, a single game can absolutely change everything going into these types of heat situations, right? So I have so much excitement to see what else. And we kind of talked about it yesterday. If someone wins in that top 5, or in the top 10 rather, the whole lobby's getting pulled up, right? If you're outside the top 10, you win, suddenly it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. I was never in the top 10. I just needed to win, and I went straight on through. So there's just so much could still happen in these last few games. And it's got me hyped. This is why I love Fortnite, Kelly. It's just such a complex game at every level.
And you can never really predict it. I love saying that. The only thing you can predict with Fortnite is that it's unpredictable. You never know who's going to win. You never know who's going to get the VR. But game number 4, maybe we can make some predictions.
Hard to predict. Hard to predict.
It is. It is. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's all everything's good. Everyone find your seats on the bus. Game 4 is ready for us, so casters, take it away.
That's right. We still have a couple key duos left in here, and I can't believe we're already 3 games through, Jacob. And it's the big dog. It's the vets that are punching their ticket straight to finals.
Yeah, rightfully so. Everybody talks about using it as practice. Well, guess what? What is practice when the game is right in front of you, when it actually matters? And honestly, we think about yesterday, Creon and Dragon qualified that were already in the top 10, shifted the whole leaderboard up for the Tick and Mafia to squeak their way in. The way today is going, I'm not sure that's going to be the case. So you got to take these opportunities to get the points while you can.
Yeah, definitely, because the pros are clutching up, quite literally.
Yeah.
2 games back to back. We're basically 3 for 3 here, as every single game has come with such a huge surprise. Sphinx, man, I don't know how you did it once again. Hopefully get another interview with that guy. He's hilarious. Either way, though, we're past the halfway mark. Game 4 is ready. Let's jump on the bus.
As of right now, Monster, when you kind of look at that point threshold, it's held by G Money and Magma at 99 points going into this game. And I know it's yesterday, a whole different heat. It was about 145 points to qualify. So we're inching towards that estimate already. And sometimes it gets beyond further than that. So hopefully you don't just kind of stick to that one estimate, maybe try to win the game. Early fight here over on this side of the map this time around. Ruins actually gets the early drop onto Maniac. And this is something we haven't really seen, an early off-spawn fight at these contested sides.
Yeah, but look, Ruins' team seems to have continued to find success even with their contested drop and turning them into at least a few end games. But to talk to your point about the top 10 being relatively close, right? 99 points, that's a very near threshold, right, for most of the other teams inside the lobby. I think these consistency points are going to be so much more competitive, right, a lot more tighter when it comes down to the last game, and that's because of how the other teams are winning, right, like how the first 3 wins have kind of gone. It's the literal most competitive teams punching their way through, so very interesting to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, we already have drop spots switch up. Jaeger and Fwishy, who are landing at Frigid, take the top mountain. Kira and Bubba, who we just saw get eliminated, went from Dark Dominion towards that mountain. So as teams win, freeze up their drop spots. People can try to play roulette to see what works for them in terms of where and when to try to switch up their landing spot. Curve and Veno going for an early lurk play. It almost seems like with 162 points, they have nothing else to do but to play the rest of these games out. And I think for Veno and Curve, this is a good try for them to finally get that win in these last 2 games. They already got consistency on lock. Why not just take it one step further?
Yeah, but if this was like finals, 14 elims, high placing end games, you can do that back to back to back, win your drop, clear your area. I mean, you are on your way to a championship regardless of a win or not. So if Veno and Curve can continue to take that momentum, take these learnings, and play at that caliber against the finals lobby, we are going to be seeing them surely pop off for the Globals LAN, the LAN Summit. In any case, have a little rotate here from Anonia on the outside. Jelty just kind of eyeing things up. It's crazy to see Jelty the way they got eliminated in that game 1. We haven't really seen them since. Wonder if they're having a bit of a hard time getting past the early games.
Especially with the way some of these zones have been going. I can imagine so. Reet and Cooper, Latte landing. Nothing too concerning going on here. They've conditioned throughout Div Cups, through the play-ins, and now here at Heats that it's not going to be easy by any means to beat them in a contested fight over towards Latte landing. And you can see as everybody is switching up their drop spots, we saw a quad, we saw a triple contested Dark Dominion. Nobody is trying to inch up towards this part of the map because they have it so unlocked. And they're not even pressed to rotate quickly because of that long pad is what I call it. Mix it with the fizz, it goes further and farther than some of the standard ones that are around the map. So they have definitely choices that they can play with here.
See which one they end up going with, but look at this. Raven and CDZ, this has been probably the biggest surprise duo I've seen here in the Heats. Showing up, getting their first real chance in the spotlight, and they have been putting up the performances of their career so far.
It's a family thing, I think, Monster, because he's siblings with Canary from Exet. who's
What?
emerging to be one of the most
Wait,
dangerous
who is?
Raven. I mean, it's a family
yeah.
matter. They
Yeah.
sit there and get free practice against each other anytime, any day, and they're probably, you know, winner gets dessert.
Listen, I don't want to say like I got an eye for talent, but like, you know, sometimes you could just see when people are just a little different, right? When they have that special touch. And I just gotta say, CDZ Raven, if you guys continue to keep it up, you have a bright future ahead of you in this game competitively, that's for sure. And this is just the first showing we're seeing of them at this like level of gameplay, right? So if they can continue what they're doing right now, they're one game away from basically a finals. And that'd be very exciting to see how they perform here on out.
I bet you if you tell them that right now, it's like you're one game away. It's almost not even a full game. They're a top 15 away. Yeah, imagine how that switches up, but imagine how happy that's going to be when it finally the dust settles and they can get themselves a spot. Sonda instantly goes for the one build in the water, holding it all up, breaks him down, breaks into the box as well, gets a good amount of damage. Somehow Skinny Cat is skinny enough to slip through the builds and survive, but how long can you keep this going with the amount of pressure? Even got 20 and Neko at Sandy Strip dealing with their own problems because that's a contested fight, but Skinny Cat is using every single material, all of his resources, everything here just to fight for a little bit of survival, but Sonda breaks in and said, nah, no chance for you.
That's actually so trolling. Like from his POV, he is cranking builds, and then Sana just smoothly slips right through the build and just eliminates him immediately. GG. Only sad part about that is they don't get to get any of that material. He just blew through it so fast.
123. I was waiting to see how many points 20 Neko was able to get up until this point. Sandy Strip. We saw the success uncontested from Aegis and Ritual yesterday. Even with this being contested at least by one team on this side of the map, you can kind of see handling that pressure well. Just trying to go ahead and use this moment to try to build up, gain information of where players are fighting, where they're rotating, and how they can take advantage of that.
Pressure coming in from Sultan enough now. Still continuing to manage the pace here, breaking their way top down. The team on the low is definitely showing signs of desperation, switching to metal, going through brick. They're trying anything to stay fortified, but enough slips into a box. A little bit of pressure there. You got to be careful. That Chaos reload does take some time to get that second shot out, but it's all good enough. Hits two of them. Kind of danced around the box a bit there, and even, unfortunately, Tight couldn't really follow up with a strong hit onto Salt there. He manages to clutch up, close things out.
Yeah. For solid enough, man, you know, they had that third place, one elim. It was looking good. They were on high ground. They just haven't had those same moments to shine. So they got to really start to pick it up here. Game 4, 2 games left. You really don't want to be one of those teams that has to go through LCQ and you're looking back like I had a chance. I could have did it if I would have just did X, Y, and Z differently. So you got to go ahead and fix that here and now so you don't have to go through the last chance qualifier where it's an opens where every single person that has yet to qualify for grand finals will play in the opens, narrowing it down to our top 50 teams on the region where you play 5 games out and it's win only. There is no leaderboard. So I wish good luck to anybody that has to go through that.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty tough. You know, we've seen these wins go either way. Heat 1 was almost showcase of, hey, anything can happen. Some of these new dogs getting shot, they're closing it out. Heat 2 has been, nah, bro, I'm a big dog. I've been here before. I'm winning. Don't care what's on the line. And they're playing their, like, exceptional. Probably some of the best Fortnite we've seen from some of these players. So who knows what's in store for Heat 3 tomorrow. I mean, you already know. We're going to have a lot to say about the team showing up then. Save it for then. It's a fun weekend.
Yeah, it's been so. I think Vivid said it yesterday, almost just under 300 days since our last online FNCS. And honestly, just waking up today was a whole different feeling. Waking up yesterday, it was almost like Christmas early. Get to unwrap the gifts. And the gifts for us is such amazing gameplay so far. Getting watched are some of our favorite teams, but even some of our underdogs emerge here and try to qualify for their first FNCS finals. Chaos Gaming, though, not a new name at all. Kind of a mainstay here when it comes to set lobbies. It's just 18 points along with Clixie. It's not where I would imagine they would be. They have tons of pop-off potential, but with only 2 games left, when is it going to happen?
That is the question. Just gonna be able to push to the finish line. Think about this here. Clicks. Chaos Gaming is kind of sitting out. They have a lot of danger hovering around them. You got a team on the mountain, team inside the facility, one lurking outside the builds. They're gonna just go ahead and overdrive out. They don't want anything to do with all that action that's about to come flying their way. Jay sleeping at the wheel though, doesn't quite even see the team rotating through. Missed opportunity for tags there.
This is where, depending on where you're actually boxed up, where you landed, and how you rotated in, this is the portion of the game from like zone 3, we'll say, to zone 5, maybe even 6. It tends to slow down. The way the Storm Surge got reworked, it's almost not worth the risk to peak if you don't have to, especially if you already got that early damage. But for teams like this, where Chaos and Clixie, where they're rotating from point A to point B for 4 non-stop zones, it's not easy to not only get the surge, but dodge every single shot coming your way. So it's going to be important for a team like this on the outskirts that's been rotating to quickly get in towards the zone and try to figure out where they stand in terms of the overall Storm Surge and how to increase their odds.
More importantly, don't take damage in the process, but hold up. Chris Drew here, after a strong last game performance, now under pressure here in the mid game. Hearing a lot of shots come in. Oh, it's Benno, it's Curve. You can just kind of tell by the aggression here. They're just trying to feel out the lobby right now, trying to see what this team was about to some degree, but good defense here. Venno, Curve, back off.
And there was a lot of moments throughout the last season before FNCS where it was Chris and Drew, honestly surprising a lot of players, a lot of teams. You got Ozzy in the watch party, the man who knows almost everything about everyone, was even trying to get some information on Chris and Drew. So it's great to see them continue their consistent run, make it in towards heats, but it cannot stop here. They cannot begin to slow down. They're, I think, just outside of that top 10 bubble. I said it was 99 points going into this game. Chris and Drew are at 92, so they are right there. They just need to be able to close out the tournaments.
Yeah, just talk about the story, right? Stay together as well, right? You want to encourage players like that to stick with one another, work through it. Maybe you can have one of those iconic duo names that we grow on to love and know forever. Like Pamson and Fatch, you know? Just came up, continue to rock it out, just some OGs. There's plenty of teams that have done that in the past.
I almost brought a tear to my eye mentioning them, but I'm not crying. You're crying. Where are they now? We need the series, Pamsu and Fatch. Hopefully you're enjoying life out there. One of the best duos that stayed together for the longest time ever. And honestly, I love to see teams find that success. Visual and Braids have been one of those teams. Even though Peterbot and Pollo had a moment where they split up, reunited, trios happened. If you kind of look at them, they've been together as a duo for quite a while as well. And they're also finding that success.
Most definitely. Look at this, though. Talk about success. 1,200 damage above the threshold. The surge damage here is looking exceptional for Magma and G-Monster. Love to see it. Here comes a nice rotate for G-Money. Gonna go ahead and bounce through, carry that momentum with the little bunny hop there. A couple shots come in, though. Ooh. Do they have extra shields on them? This is going to be the real question. I'm sure they're not going to want to go through the chug just yet. Yep, there it is. The big pot's dropped. Uh-oh. See the fights on the side there. Jargoon drop.
Chris and Drew rotating out. Chris and Drew didn't want to go through the tunnel the first time, so they shockwaved over it. Lo and behold, they still end up running into Curve and Venno, but they use a shockwave of their own. Almost a different direction, but they're almost rotating parallel with another. Going east towards the zone. Good damage onto one. And it does look like Venno, he's got that early damage. Curve is there as well. He doesn't want to travel too far ahead without Curve now that he's out without shield. So he's trying to lurk and hopefully Amplify Larizis do make some sort of mistake, and that's where Venno is looking to capitalize.
You can just tell the game sense on Venno, right? Recognizing, like, yeah, there's a team above them, so the threat, they're not going to be focused on danger ahead. They'll be more focused on protecting from up top. Although it doesn't open up opportunity, still was cool to watch that play out, that little dynamic at play. Meanwhile, Reet Cooper already rotated, already situated up almost perfectly here. Dead center, prime positioning on the map, just a couple hundred damage above where they need to be. But overall, a very, very smooth performance so far from Reet and Cooper post game one.
Essentially done everything that they need to do in this game. much to say in this day except for confirmed their spot in finals. It's right there. It's right in their grasp. Just need to finish off the day strong. Raven and CDZ actually taking a little bit of high ground here. This is where they do need to be careful. And yesterday, we were in the try screen, and honestly, I missed it in the moment, but there was at least maybe 4, 5, 6 players around here in the end game to exactly this. Somebody shoots it, it gets mad and blasts everyone away into the storm. But you can see up top, utilizing it to gain the HP. If you emote in it, as long as you're not in storm, you will be able to regenerate that HP for free, so you don't have to dig into your resources.
It is hilarious how that works. It's like, yep, dance with me, we're all good. Fight me, we got a problem. CDZ Raven get gifted though. Little airdrop here. Let's see what's gonna be gifted to them. Nice, they catch the fist there for the rotates. Each having a set.
My only worry for them, so to say, is where this next zone pulls. If they have to shockwave from high ground a far distance away, that just leaves them open to getting tagged. Stash Cam positioned inside of Sandy Strip, one of the buildings, but you can kind of see in the mini map this side overall, the southwestern portion of the actual zone is so stacked. And that's what makes being only 68 above the damage threshold so dangerous. You almost want to peek, you want to try to get some free damage, but with so many players so close by, you peek at the wrong time, take damage, you fall below, that'll be a mistake you regret.
Let's see if the zone should be revealing itself shortly here. 10 seconds left for that. Venom and Curve somehow get just a butter slick rotate right there. Right on into the edge of the zone. That congestion on that western side is heavy, given that it's pulled all the way this way. Now it's going to go north, so anyone who's kind of set up on the opposite's got to move early. Looks like they're getting it a little angry here.
Amplify. Lures this below damage. One of them down. It almost looks like Storm Surge is active as well, so he is just taking damage. His teammate gets fully eliminated, and he follows suit right after. He's trying to dodge the onslaught from one team, ends up dropping into a whole nother. And unfortunately for him, he goes down at about 30th place, so no placement points for them in this game. They're going to have to go again in the last and final game of the day with their backs against the wall.
Yeah, pressure starting to build now. The experience is going to have to pay off here, but for Cooper right now, 0 elims, 190 above the threshold, not too bad. They're edging their way into the end game. Still 18 players have to go down before we hit the cutoff here. Meanwhile, Degen Eulogy finally finding their footing into this end game. This is the second time now they've managed to appear and show up. But overall, still a long way to go here if they want to get inside that top 10. So it's going to come off of the strong 2 performances needed here. And now looking for something though. They see the mist is out. That's going to signal danger here. Love the low ground pressure coming in. Almost wish they would have boxed up the outskirts there and just continue to keep it, but they seem to just kind of ease up right now. Don't want to throw away the end game opportunity they have right now. On high ground though, you have Venno, Curve fighting their way up towards Chris and Drew's layer, and then others there as well.
Yeah, they pushed that team far off. They were able to get a little bit of damage on top of that one. Barely 141. They realized that team is trying to heal. They're not going to be able to protect themselves if they strike and time it perfectly. Curve tries to break in along with Venno, but he takes a big shot. Curve almost gets boxed in. They quickly backtrack in their steps, and even though they did land some shots, they took more damage than they dealt. They dropped to only 93 above the damage threshold. For them, it's not too worrisome just yet, but in the back of their mind, they know if this keeps going in the same trend, they're going to have to get into the elimination.
Look at this, Raven finds enough right there, and Salt's duo. So when it's said and done, this team is continuing to perform here and find the end game. Nice little use of the fist here to rotate across. Doesn't want to overcommit with it. They both have one thanks to the airdrop right there. And now they're at the front. Meanwhile, Mako and Blank, so they fend off Venno's team, and then they go for high ground. This is their first big 17 points, so finally showing up, but they're below the surge. Great damage, though. Doesn't get better than when you're on high, but look at this. They don't really have heals to work with, so they will have to hunt for a refresh here.
Yeah, and if anybody's shockwaves up, it's going to be so hard to defend. You almost got to give it up instantly. Reed and Cooper, they know that all too well. They've got second place so far as Cooper. Reed, he's leading the charge. He's quickly following suit. They want to stay together, box to box. There's a huge strength in numbers, especially for a team like this with literally nothing to lose. And you see them even peeking up towards the top. Is high ground something we can take? It's going over this mountain, so everybody down below has to be prepared to expend some material.
A lot of heals here still in the tank for CDC and Raven right now. They have Reed and Cooper on the other side again. When that mist starts to come out, he does typically signal a little bit of danger on the other side, but Cooper's popping off even in the mist. It's hard to track, but he makes it look easy here. Reed, Cooper continue to fire off. Finding a set of E-limbs. That's a great refresh for them to give them a little bit more gas in the tank. Degen and Eulogy, though, that passive play backfiring now. Eulogy's got no builds here, just a little big pot to use here. Meanwhile, there's a team right above him. Just no idea how much dangerous nearby. There it is. It's been on curve. They see that something's down low, but Threats falls there too. Can usually get the finish. No, not in time. Veno curve turn back around. They're going to find themselves so much loot there, actually.
Fear falls, not able to save the day and pick Threats back on up. But disaster strikes again. Yeah, Curve is now down.
Wow.
Veno's there with him. You almost think revive could have been possible, but Zone is already creeping up on him. So Veno, once again, left by himself in a solo situation, peering around, trying to figure out what that right play is going to be, realizing there's so many duos all around. It might be just sit and heal, but they're trying to break into the box, putting pressure, forcing him up one layer, back down below. He's getting attacked and approach from all angles, but he's figuring out the answers instantly.
Veno's just too clean with it. I'm over here just admiring the rotate right now. That was some exceptional layer changing there, but even with the Chug Jug here, he doesn't want to risk too much, so he's going to go on and play the zone. Again, this is all about positioning and placing points now. He's got a lot here in the Chug Jug, so just go ahead and read the situation. Finds 20 in the mix there. Even though he wasn't fully reloaded, still finds a full finish. The Siphon's going to keep him in the game too. There goes a pistol swap out. Hopefully it's got some ammo in it. And this is just starting to come online. Veno earning so much impactful points here. And there's still one more there. He might be able to find it. Meanwhile, Neko loses 20, but it's all good. Here's Veno back into the mix, and another knot there. My gosh.
It's a bird, it's a play. No, it's Veno flying high through the sky. If that knock comes in, the Siphon will work. He can get back up to 200 effective shield and HP if that does come to fruition, but he's still battling for space. The zone turning the corner. He's trying to beat it to the other side, but he's almost out of builds. 200 plus points, and he does it again. Taking names and crossing them off his list one at a time. He's one of two solos left. Mako and Blanks from Frigid Fortress have a chance to win this game and qualify to finals, but they still have to go through Veno, who is on a terror here in this end game. Another 1v2. He's hoping his job is not done just yet, but Mako dropping down. Hopefully it isn't too soon, because now Veno lands another shot. What are we witnessing here right before our very eyes? But he is out of builds, and the momentum run comes to an end. Mako and Blanks have finally done it, but that was scary.
Jacob, I'm like, another pro's gonna do it. He's gonna go crazy. He's got the mats. The high ground team started to run out. There was nothing left, but you know what? Finally, some new blood gets on the table here. Blanks and Mako, congrats on a Game 4 win there. Zeke, another exciting round for us.
You guys, I was right there too. I was like, yo, it's crazy too, because like we were talking right before this, and we kind of tuned into like Veno early on in the game. I was like, you know, maybe they're gonna get all their elims at the end. And I thought for a moment it was, but ultimately High Ground wins games. Blanks, Mako, congratulations. They had that high ground for so long, super dominant. And they played this textbook, right, Kelly? They played this the way we would kind of like foresee in a finals lobby to look. So I'm impressed. And ultimately, that means they're going to finals.
You are 100% correct. Just every time we tuned into them on high ground, they played it so well. They were very aware of their surroundings. They weren't built up too high so that when they did lose their mats, they were able to drop down and get some refreshes. They just played that so cleanly for so long. Although I do have to give some credit to the chaos going down on the low ground. A lot of our big names did get eliminated on the low and mid ground, which might have made it a little bit more free for Mako and Blanks. But to go up against Veno and to be able to keep your cool, Vivid, I like to see them go through and see how they're going to perform in our grand finals.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot wait to see how they perform there as well, because I've been calling it out throughout the heat every single time it happens. Once again, we have some competitors going to grand finals for the very first time. Both Blanks and Mako have yet to be in an FNCS grand final, so we'll see them for the first time next weekend and taking it down Venom. It may have been close, but they finished off the job at the end of things.
It's the
Congratulations
most
to those guys.
new people in
I love to see, guys. Only one game left to go before we wrap up heat number 2. Go find yourself some water. Go, take a small break. Come back, and we'll start to prepare ourselves. Single game left to go. 1 VR or the top 10. We'll see you in a moment.